So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Brendan, and then we'll have the audio clip from Eamon Fitzpatrick, and then, we'll have the star video, then the audio clip from Eamon Fitzpatrick. Thank you.
Thanks everyone, and good afternoon. I'll just proceed on the basis that folk can hear me because it seems to be working, but I'm trying to do this on my phone, so I'll struggle to follow the chat a wee bit. But no, thanks ever so much for the introduction. I'm Brendan Rooney, so I'm a government official leading the Children's Care and Justice Bill proposals. There's a couple of workshops over the conference as well on the bill, one this afternoon, one tomorrow. So hopefully this is quite an informative kind of canter through of things, and it can help give a bit of a basis for exchanging views and listening to feedback around that. The proposals in the bill are a sort of key element of broader body of work in Scotland to support children and young people, helping to go on to positive outcomes, positive futures. Key strands are around when children are coming into conflict with the law and care and justice systems, that those are in age-appropriate systems, and forums. Addressing causes of a child's behaviour will help them reintegrate, rehabilitate and desist. In turn, that approach can help prevent causing of further harm, minimise the number of future victims, doing outcomes for everyone. As I'm sure everyone at the conference is aware, there have been dramatic positive changes in Scotland's response to children in conflict with law. Data shows that in 11 years running up to 2019-2020, there was an 85% reduction in the number of children and young people being prosecuted in Scotland's courts. There was also a 93% reduction in 16 and 17-year-olds being sentenced to custody. So we're aware that's down to the dedicated commitment of key partners striving together to help make a difference, and many of you will be represented here at the conference today. And I hope such figures give heart and encouragement, as well as confidence that Scotland's approach to youth justice and children in this area is the right one. However, I suppose as exemplified by everything we've heard this morning, there's still a lot of work to be done. And the backdrop and the legacy of the health pandemic means challenges are even more keenly felt across systems, services and workforces. But I think we all owe it to Scotland's children and young people, as well as victims and communities, to promote evidence-led, progressive, continually improving approaches. And legislation obviously be a key pillar in the suite of work to achieve those aims, helping Scotland to keep the promise. Consultation on the bill is open for exactly one more week. So as Ms Hoy alluded to in her opening remarks, we're keen to gather as much feedback as we can from across all those with an interest in this area and civic society in general, to help inform proposals ahead of them being introduced to Parliament. So I'll give a rundown of what's in the consultation, and it's quite a broad suite of proposals, so apologies if it does feel a bit like a canter through the issues, but I'm aware, I suppose these are lightning talks, so hopefully we can expand, as I say, on these in the workshops. So the consultation explores potential measures on increasing the age of referral to the principal reporter to 18, so to help strengthen the presumption that children are kept out of the criminal justice system. I know we've talked a lot about that this morning. Therefore, I suppose enabling 16 and 17-year-olds to access the welfare-based hearing system. Consideration on whether the hearing system should be able to extend beyond a child's 18th birthday, mitigating those kind of cliff edges that we know about in terms of support and care as that transition to adulthood takes place. It's exploring whether better support for victims and information to victims needs to be a feature of the hearing system in light of the age of referral being raised. This is sort of exploring, I think, whether the balance currently is correct between the right of the child to privacy, the right of the child who's the subject of the hearing, and the needs of victims to know and understand what's happened in relation to harm caused to them. It also considers whether there are circumstances beyond current provisions where it be appropriate to share information for the purposes of protecting a victim. So we are aware those are quite broad issues that have quite large ramifications for the kind of ethos of the hearing system, but we're exploring those through the consultation. looking at potential adaptations to court to help ensure that children go through the criminal justice system treated in a more age-appropriate and trauma-informed way. We know feedback tells us children, the challenges children face understanding, participating in court proceedings, and criminal trial processes designed to determine guilt can be adversarial, traumatic. So there's a range of potential measures being asked about there. Moreover, the consultation explores extending the rights of privacy for children in conflict with the law, not to be identified, and to be afforded further anonymity, and also whether the tests around this that are currently utilised by courts, such as public interest, strike the right balance or would merit being looked at. As set out with the Promised Implementation Plan, which was published on the same day as the bill consultation, the Scottish Government's committed to ending placement of children in young offenders institutions and supporting care-based alternatives. So we're seeking feedback on how best to approach this, being clear that deprivation of liberty should be a last resort. Secure care is obviously amongst the most intensive and restrictive form of childcare available in Scotland. In exceptional circumstances, we know the use of secure care is necessary, proportionate, as one of the only means of which a child can be kept safe, but it also has the potential to save a child's life or change it for the better. But routes to secure care are complex and contingent on the age of the child and legally defined status. So the consultation again seeks to use whether the current definitions surrounding this and that regulatory landscape that interacts with it should be revisited. Additionally, we have questions about potentially enabling secure care beyond 18. On secure care funding models, with consultation also asking questions about how legislative change can help support those approaches to placement routes. And I know the Minister mentioned this morning in her opening remarks that discussions are ongoing with key partners. So we're looking at how the bill can also support that. Relating the current arrangements mean secure care placement decisions don't have a central commissioning mechanism or national oversight. So questions are also being asked as to whether or not some kind of panel model might be beneficial, looking at sort of other examples in Northern Ireland and the Secure Welfare Coordination Unit down in England. On cross-border placements, I'm aware delegates will likely be aware that the regulations recently passed in Holyrood that recognise deprivation of liberty orders. So Scottish ministers have committed to keeping the promise by reducing and ultimately moving to end cross-border placements. So we're exploring how the bill can aid in those endeavours. We're also exploring views on further legislative provision and clarity if it's desirable in relation to secure transport and in relation to restraint in care settings. And also questions are asked about whether the review period for the age of criminal responsibility strikes the right balance. But I suppose being mindful that we know the Rise to 12 commenced just at the end of last year, and work from the advisory group is ongoing. So I know that that's quite a run through of a large range of issues that are complex and technical in nature as well. I mean, we know these are emotive matters, we know they're challenging, but we are unapologetic as a government, and our aim is for every child. And if the change of the consultation were easy, we obviously would have done these things by now. And we're also aware, I suppose, legislative change is part of a suite, as I said at the start, enabling support, system, policy, practice change. And we're aware that will be required to strengthen efforts and ensure that the needs of all young people can be met. Alongside the consultation, we've been doing a flurry of engagement with key partners and stakeholders to help co-design solutions. And as we take stock of the feedback that comes in from the consultation, that engagement will continue over the summer to help shape matters. And obviously key to all this is the voices of young people, and that's why we've conducted ongoing targeted sessions through partners such as CYCJ and the Scottish Youth Parliament, as well as engaging agencies such as Young Scot. And it's been really pleasing to see we've got some consultation responses in already from our hearings, our voice. So in terms of timing, ministers will announce the legislative programme as the part of the forthcoming programme for government over the summer. So I'm afraid I'm unable to give kind of cast iron specifics on where we are on that. But hopefully this kind of outline can assure you that the detailed considerations are going on within government, engagement is happening, and we are looking at assessments based on the consultation feedback. So just to reiterate again, yeah, there's a week left for the consultation. We're keen that as many responses from across the piece come in as possible. And we are here for contact details if anybody needs to get in touch with us or wants to use us as a bit of a sounding board in that last week if looking to put in any consultation responses. So I'll end there. Thanks for listening.